Donnie and Dolly, the team is supported by ableauctions.ca. Closing your business? We can help.
Today, all of our guests, including Ryan Miller, standing by, are brought to you by the Alberni Power and Marine RPM Group. Located in Port Alberni, Alberni Power and Marine is one of Vancouver Island's most trusted boat dealerships, the largest Mercury Marine dealership in Canada. Their service team just won for a fourth straight year a CSI, a Customer Satisfaction Index score above the national average. Make your appointment for the 2022 boating season, the 2023 boating season as well, at albernipowermarine.com. What a pleasure this is. We found out recently that Ryan Miller is going into the U.S. Hockey Hall of Fame. Also going to have his number 30 retired by the Buffalo Sabres during the NHL season. Of course, he's a former Canuck, and he joins us now. Ryan, thanks so much for doing this. How are you, sir?
Doing well. Thanks for having me, guys.
What's going on in your life these days?
Just hanging out with the kids. We have a 5-month-old daughter now named Kaya, and just been in the baby haze. And my son Bodie's back to school and playing some hockey, and we're having fun with that kind of stuff. He tried goalie out last weekend, so that was fun.
How'd that go?
He did good. Yeah, he's done it a couple times last year, and he kind of hinted around this summer. He was hoping to try it more often. So we're going to have him skate with his travel team at forward, as he usually does, and then he's going to play goalie in-house when they need him, kind of just here and there. So, yeah, gets to sample it, and I think that's a good way to do it. He's only 7, and it's a good way to just round it out and get experience all over the ice.
I think I've got this right. Looking at your Wikipedia page and remembering a story or two, you didn't start out as a goaltender. You started out as a forward, and there's an interesting story how you got to be a goaltender. It involves your dad.
Yeah, I'm trying to avoid the same situation with Bodie. I was just really interested in goaltender. I think I was probably 8 years old at the time. And I kept bugging my dad to try it. And he was our coach, and he just kind of was like, nah, you don't want to do that. And, next time. I kept deferring to the next time and pushing me off. So I kind of had a sit-down strike. I told him I wanted to be getting on the ice again in the middle of a game until I got a chance to play goalie. And he made a deal with me that I scored, 3 goals, 3 assists in the game at least. I could try goalie. And I think I did it pretty quickly. And I came back, sat down, and kind of gave him the how you like me now kind of face. And from that point on, I was able to, try goalie and get into it. So I think my dad likes to tell that story because it was just one of the all-time backfires. But, obviously it worked out to be a position I loved and could play for a long time.
You telling me the Canucks could have had a forward that popped in 6 points a night? Come on, Ryan. Hey, there's a great video out there. Your final NHL game back in 2021, Ducks versus LA. There's a YouTube video out there. I'm sure you're familiar with it, of you embracing your parents. I believe it was after the game was over. It's really touching. What was that moment like for you? What was going through your mind?
Yeah, that was in Minnesota because it was still the COVID restrictions, and we were worried about people traveling. So my parents could drive from Michigan, and that was to be my last game. And so they made the trip, and it ended up being like I had to meet them in the stands because of the restrictions in the arena. So that's kind of how that moment got captured. Was cameras are still kind of around. Mm-hmm. It was just kind of they'd been there for me from the beginning, and it was just kind of overwhelming in that moment to just take in nearly 40 years of hockey. It really was something that was introduced early in our life, in our family. So it's just been a long time of a lot of emotions surrounding that last game. So it's nice to actually have that image and have that moment captured because
special.
It was special, and it was nice to share with them.
Another special moment for you, Ryan. You're going to headline the 2022 U.S. Hockey Hall of Fame class. Tell us about the moment you got the call. What an honor.
Yeah, very honored. It's going to be a great class. I think that Steve Cash being part of it is really cool. Lamro twins, I got to know them over the course of some Olympics and watching them play. That's really special. And Jim Johansson being a part of it as well, in his memory. Jimmy was one of my first contacts when I played in the World Championships out of college. And, he was a big part of the international teams that I played for. So, for him to be part of this class is kind of special too, in his memory. He had passed away a few years ago, and he was a special guy, and so it's pretty cool to be a part of that group. And looking back on it, just how much hockey I was able to play in my life is just that's the fun part. It's like I just never occurred to me I'd have to stop playing hockey, and it was fun to do it for so long, and to make an impact on American hockey. It was it's pretty cool to look back on. I remember watching like Lillehammer Olympics and watching the American team play, and I don't think they medaled or anything, but just watching them wear the jerseys and being around 12 years old, kind of in an impressionable time, and just really thinking, wow, they get to go play in the Olympics and stuff like that. So to be able to say I got to do it twice and make an impression on American hockey, and it's pretty cool.
Ryan, there's a lot of good young American goalies in the National Hockey League right now, and I'm pretty sure a lot of those young kids grew up saying, I'm going to be the next Ryan Miller. One of those kids is right here in Vancouver, Thatcher Demko. When you watch Demko, what are your thoughts on this kid? He came out of San Diego. I mean, that's where he was from. But your thoughts on Demko and his rise in the NHL?
Well, I mean, you saw the raw talent. We shared a training camp just the one time when I was there. But you can see the raw talent, and I think he backs it up with his work ethic. You see him trying to fine-tune his game. And, I mean, that's really what it takes to be world-class. There's that commitment to finding the things that are going to set you apart. There are so many great goaltenders right now, but it's going to take that mental edge, and it's going to take that technical precision. And you guys have a good one. It's been fun to watch him. I did have a lot of time watching the American goalies last year, scouting for the Olympic program, and up until they changed out and the NHL guys didn't end up going. I was doing a lot of work with that group, and I got a lot of time to see Thatcher play. And there's it's fun to see like how technical he can be, but it's also fun when he gets a little old school within the net, where it's like, okay, that I'm not set up to make the technical save, and he can pull out some athleticism. So you guys have a good one, and it's going to be an interesting time to watch him progress. He's kind of arriving into his prime.
Everybody in Vancouver remembers a lot about you and your 3 seasons in Vancouver. Defending Troy Stetcher in Toronto is one of them. What are your memories of the 3 seasons you spent here? What sticks out?
I had a lot of fun with I had a lot of fun with that group. The Sedins were great leaders. So we had a really great group. I know that that first year there was probably the more exciting season for everybody when we made a good push and got into the playoffs. A little bit bittersweet for me. Like, I loved that we made the playoffs, but I felt like I was coming off of a knee injury. I think I played that last game of the year against Edmonton. I kind of pushed it to get back to try and at least get a game in, but it's real disappointing to look back on, because I felt like we had a veteran team. We had the experience to do some damage. And I just felt like I was, not up to game speed. I wasn't at a high level. And then, the next 2 seasons kind of got away from us. It was not the prettiest hockey, but I thought we competed as best we could. And I took pride in going out every night and trying to compete and represent the city. And and that's kind of always been my thing. Is I love to get involved in the community and represent the city. I think that that's a great energy to bring onto the ice when you have a familiarity with the fans and the group, people that support your team. And I will say that the fans up there playing in Canada for the first time, although Buffalo for nearly 12 years is kind of like playing in Canada. I will say it was a great experience to get to play in Canada and to be there. And I don't know if everybody knows, but my father's side is a Canadian. He holds two passports. He was born in Saskatchewan, and so it was cool to kind of come back to our family's roots and be up among some family in Vancouver actually, and we have more family closer to Calgary and still in Regina. But that was a cool part to go home. And then having Bodie, my son, be born up there, so he's actually holding two passports as well, and be so a little dual citizen. We have a lot of fond memories from Vancouver, and it's definitely after things have settled down with COVID and whatnot, and we're hoping to get back there and spend some time, take Bodie back and kind of refresh his memory on the walking on the seawall and getting down to Granville and doing the fun things we did with him as a toddler.
Yeah, well, it's good to know that Bodie's going to be playing for Team Canada one day, Ryan. We appreciate that.
I guess technically he'll have a choice.
Exactly.
Hey, what's in the future? Before we let you go, what's in the future for you? You mentioned working with USA Hockey. Anything else hockey for you at a high level versus what you're doing now with your boy?
Yeah, I'd like to always remain competitive in different ways, and one way I can do that is by working with USA Hockey on some of their tournaments. We're coming out of the baby haze a little bit here, so hopefully in the future working with some of those those teams. But I'm working with the NHL and hockey operations under Colin Campbell and with Kay Whitmore. So we're doing a lot. I did that for about 7 or 8 months of the 7 months of the season last year, and we continued through into this following season. So working with the guys in the war room and doing some on ice rules and gameplay stuff. So it's been cool to get to see that side of it, interact with some of the guys in the NHL office, and just continuing that. And at some point, working with teams on various things that I'm interested in would be like player development management angle. I'm interested in that side of things. I kind of built my game a certain way with a certain approach, and I feel like that approach could be expanded. So definitely looking to do that in the future, but right now it's big family time. My wife Noreen is taking the brunt of a hockey player's career. Yep. So it's time for her to have a little bit more freedom to do the things she needs to do, and I'm happy to be here. I'm getting to have a lot of the experiences with my daughter Kaya that I missed out on with Bodie a little bit more, but still obviously spent a lot of time with him. But when we were traveling, in that hockey mode, you do miss a lot. So it's been nice to be around for that.
Well, we always enjoyed talking to you when you were here in Vancouver for your 3 seasons, and today that trend continues. Ryan, thanks so much for this. All the best.
Yeah, thanks for having me, guys.